Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nico. I am the Green Leaders instructor, and I'm very privileged to be able to work with these amazing young leaders. Here today, we are lucky enough to have four of our very own Green Leaders on this panel to answer a few questions, some of whom you might have seen on the video. We have Thomas, we have Annabelle, we have Deanna, and we have Eurydia. To the audience, please feel free to put in any questions you might have for our Green Leaders throughout the session. And with what time we have left at the end, Susie will select a few of them to ask. And thank you. So let's begin. Annabelle, what environmental issues are important to you?
Well, this might come as a shock, but climate change. um, I think climate change is just one of my biggest concerns, just because it affects everything and it's changing rapidly. So it's something that we need to be concerned about now. We can't wait to lead in the future because it's affecting our daily lives right now.
Thank you, Annabelle. All right, Thomas, you ready? Maybe you can take the question again. What environmental issues are important to you? You're still muted, buddy. I don't know why we're not picking up your sound. Maybe I can pass it on to someone else. Eurydia, what environmental issues are important to you?
Some environmental issues are very important to me are pollution in the air that harm animals and us, and pollution in the water that can harm a lot of the fishes, and we might not have enough fish to be selling later on in the future because a bunch of animals are going to go extinct later on. And about 4 million people die a year because
That's great, Eurydia. Thank you. All right, question number 2. What do you want grown-ups to know? Deanna.
I want grown-ups to know that there are consequences for their actions and that a lot of people die from climate change every year, and that it can also cause health problems for people.
Very true, very true. Eurydia, what do you want grown-ups to know?
I agree with Deanna that the activities that adults cause and increases climate change more can affect us children in the future, and maybe we are going to start to feel it or see the changes sooner, way much sooner than we expect it to.
Very true, very true. Thank you, Eurydia. Okay, third question. What would you have grown-ups do for the planet to slow climate change? We're going to try again with Thomas. Let's see if your microphone works.
I'd like adults to drive less and use public transit more. I'd also like adults to use fewer plastic bags, as they are only used on average for about 12 minutes and only 1 to 3% are actually recycled. I'd also like them to pass laws for green energy such as wind, solar, nuclear, and geothermal.
Great answer, Thomas. All right. Eurydia, what would you have grown-ups do for the planet to slow climate change?
I would want grown-ups to reuse materials and products that are made from harmful products that can not only affect us but can only affect animals. And some plastic bags or plastic bottles end up in the street and can cause a lot of car accidents later on if plastic bags get stuck on the window, on front window.
That's great. Thank you for your answer. Moving on. How can adults better collaborate with young people? Annabelle.
Well, adults can start by informing themselves on these new issues. Like they can, come into the conversation knowing knowing what we know so they can think of solutions themselves. And I mean, Google is free. So like it just, I mean, it's like they're just a few Google searches away and you'll be able to let yourself know about these issues and concerns that we have. So just educating yourself about these topics can really go a long way and help us help us out with these issues.
Well said, Annabelle. Okay, moving on. Deanna, how can adults better collaborate with young people?
They can better collaborate with young people by establishing clear goals, and so that everyone knows what their responsibility and what goals they're reaching for.
Well said, Deanna. Thank you. Okay, and for our last question, how can youth like you be a part of the solution? We're going to start with Euridia.
Well, what we can do to be part of the solution is plant more trees at the park or anywhere where we are allowed to plant trees. And we could, instead of taking a car, each person to go to school or to work, we could use the bus or maybe walk or just bike to school. And we could also join environmental groups that help with the with the climate change and help out the planet around. Like us green leaders, we learn more, and we also don't just like talk about it and learn about it. We also act, and we clean out the streets or at the Patterson Park places.
Great solutions. Thank you. Thomas, how can youth like you be a part of the solution?
Get involved in things like green leaders so that you can inform yourself on things such as this, so that when you're an adult, you can live a better, environmentally friendly lifestyle with good environmental habits. And that way you'll be able to set an example for people of all ages.
That's great, Thomas. Deanna, how can youth like you be a part of the solution?
We can be a part of the situation by joining environmental organizations, participate in cleanups, and go on like that's actually it.
That's great. I'm loving these community solutions. Okay, and last but not least, Annabelle, how can youth like you be a part of the solution?
So kind of like what all of them said, like not to make this answer like a sponsored ad for green leaders, but could send your kid to green leaders. And but like just doing stuff like the things that we do in green leaders, like actually, starting doing solutions that we are capable of doing so far, because even though we're only kids and there's a lot of lifestyle decisions that we can't make yet, there are some that we can start with. And green leaders teaches you about those kinds of decisions, and they bring the capability of some of the solutions to you. You're able to start the solution.
That's perfect. Thank you, everyone. And so now we'll be taking some questions from the audience. Susie, would you like to ask a few?
Yes, great job, everyone. There are many compliments coming through, you should know. I can send those later via email, but we'll get to the questions. So let's see. First thing we'll ask is what is the most important thing you have learned in the Green Leaders program? Maybe we'll take an answer from a couple of you, since there are several questions. We can kind of bounce them around. So maybe take yourself off mute if you're ready to answer. What's the most important thing you've learned from the Green Leaders program?
I can go. Something like one of the most important things I've learned is that fixing these global issues is a group effort. So while it's great to start solving these issues yourself, try to get people involved in it. So, like, try to work as a community to get these things done. Influence others to make new decisions to help our world. And when and when you do this, you're just helping fix all these issues like climate change, pollution, um, migration patterns, like all of those issues. It goes a long way when you get everyone involved. So.
Thank you, Annabelle. Anyone else want to tackle what's the most important thing? Thomas?
Something that I learned from green leaders is that birds are also affected by this. I originally just thought, oh, it's the polar bears, it's the penguins, the ice caps are melting. Oh no, what are we going to do for these Arctic animals? Or what are we going to do for the animals in the Amazon rainforest? But birds are also affected because flowers aren't blooming properly, and that causes them to not have something to eat along their migration. And their migration patterns themselves are being messed up as well.
Thank you. All right, another question. Maybe I'll give Eurydia and Deanna the first go at this one. It says, I love the Green Leaders panel. Do any of the participants plan to study ecology or science in high school or college?
Well, yeah, kind of like I'm planning to go to or like I said before, organizations or groups where we could help the climate change, and yeah, maybe like learn more about science to know also, because we need a lot of science to know a lot about climate change too.
Thank you.
No, actually, I have everything already set up for what I'm actually doing in high school. And
well, that's great. It doesn't have to be that you study science. I think it's worth pointing out that these things, we often think about them as being siloed, right? But environment is interwoven with everything. So whatever your focus is, you can still take action and you can still weave it in. All right, let me go to another good question. Well, gosh. There's one question. What do the Green Leaders like most about Patterson Park? Who wants to tackle that?
I really like that it's not just fields and trees and plants. There's also the duck pond, which is a great environment for water birds and other things that live in the water, such as fish and frogs. And it's also just something great to sit by and look at and ride past. And that gives the park a bit more character and something to look forward to when you go to it.
Nice. Anyone else want to share something about the park?
I'll go. I really just like how, in Baltimore we live in a city, and there's trees down the block, sure, but like I don't see a lot of green all the time. So when I go to Patterson Park, it's like there's also like so much diversity in all the nature. Like it's so colorful, and there's like so many different types of things. So it really also kind of like makes you think like, it reminds you, even if you live in the city, like nature is really pretty. We should protect it. So yeah.
Thank you. And I agree, nature is not just in the city, not just outside the city. Oftentimes we think of that, but there are nature destinations in the city, and Patterson Park's a great example. All right, so these are so many good questions and so many compliments. This one says, you all are so inspiring. Adults need to get our act together and follow your lead. There you have it. What's your favorite way to take action to help the planet and protect our climate? You ready, Deanna? Do you want to take this one first? What's your favorite way to take action to help the planet?
Well, my favorite actions are recycle is what me and my family do a lot more often. Almost like every day we recycle so many things. Sometimes we go pick up trash in the park. Like today we're gonna go more later we're gonna go to the park and we're gonna go clean up.
Excellent. Deanna or anyone else have a favorite action?
Joining groups like Green Leaders.
Okay, yeah, the power of working together. There's a kind of a related question. How do you share what you learn with your classmates, friends, and family? Open to anyone. How do you share what you learn?
Well, when I went to like the every Tuesday meetings with Green Leaders, I would always go home at the end of the day and tell my parents about what kind of things we did that day. And like whenever these like Green Leader upcoming events happen, like I just tell my friends about it because I talk a lot. And I just like to talk about, you know, what kind of program this is and like what we learn in it. So I just let everyone know.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else want to share how you share the important messages from Green Leaders with others? No pressure. All right, related, this is kind of a related question. What would you say to other students who don't feel like their voices are heard when they talk about these issues? So what other advice might you give to young people who don't feel their voices are heard?
Their voice is one of many's, and just because their voice as an individual may not be heard, the voice of all those people crying out that the earth needs to be helped will be heard, and they can be part of that voice.
Very good. Anyone else?
Well, I think join environmental groups and maybe participate more in like how do you call it, marches of climate change, because we could spread the word, and that is maybe going to help them let their voices be heard more.
Yeah, I see similarities in both those answers and sort of being one of many. And so if you feel you're alone, find the others who are on the same track to work together. All right, there's one more question for you and me, Nico, and then we're about out of time. There are other questions. We won't get to them all, but thank you so much for those who are asking and sharing your compliments. So for Susie or Nico, what an awesome program and team. Is the video about the Green Leaders available to show others? And how can we get a Green Leaders program in our own communities? Okay.
It's a great question. The video, y'all had the exclusive preview, so the video will actually be up in the coming days. So look out for that. We'll post it all over social media, and you'll be able to see it. And I'll have all the information to sign up as well. In terms of how to get Green Leaders in other communities, maybe that's a better question for Susie.
Thanks. Yeah, it's a matter of capacity. So for us, that means being able to have a grant that funds our ability to have enough staff to implement something like this. So we're doing great, and we're loving the transformation that Nico has really led this year. Before it was structured as an after-school program at just a couple schools. But this year with COVID and other limitations, we said, what if we just open it up and then we get a mix of students from all over town? And so we're riding that wave right now and getting ready to do it again in the spring. So it comes down to the funding and capacity, but if folks have ideas and interest, I'd be eager to talk to them about that. Nico, did you have any closing words before I hand it over to Dave?
Yes, absolutely. I just wanted to wrap up with further promoting the Green Leaders and say that the program is opening up for registration this Monday, March 1st, for our spring semester. If you know any eco-minded middle schoolers in Baltimore City, please send them to the Patterson Park Audubon Center website to apply for the program. It's currently a mix of virtual and in-person sessions with plenty of opportunities to have fun and get active on climate change. And lastly, a big thank you to the Green Leaders for coming today and giving your voice to the youth. I'm sure everybody really, really appreciated it, and it was so powerful to hear. Thank you to Audubon for giving us this platform to share our message, and thank you to you, the audience, for hearing that message today.